Hey traders, how's everybody doing? It is Tuesday, April 8th, and I'm back with another video. A lot of crazy things have been happening the last few days, and just got a few things that I want to talk about. Once again today had a good day, had just over $1,000 profit, and made that profit shorting Apple and AMD. And I actually lost on a couple of trades. I lost on SPY and the triple Q. So I had puts on everything, puts on the SPY, puts on the Q, and puts on Apple and AMD. Now the Apple and the AMD trades went great. SPY and the Q, not so well. This is the first point of the video that I want to talk about, and that is the fact that even when you are trading correctly, occasionally things can happen that are completely out of your control that can throw your trade into a tailspin. And yesterday is a perfect example of that. Now I'm going to put up a screenshot here of yesterday. So yesterday, when the market opened, I got in with 3 put contracts on SPY and the triple Q. Ended up closing 2 out of the 3 of those contracts by like a half hour in. And then you can see the screenshot that I'm putting up here right now. Between like about 9:10 and 9:15, we get this insane movement from like 494 on the SPY all the way up to 523. So like nearly 30 points on SPY in 10 minutes basically. And you go, well, how is that possibly happening? It was actually an incorrect tweet by somebody that made that happen. So it was literal fake news from some quote unquote reporter that decided to tweet that I believe it was China was about to step up to the table and make an agreement on tariffs. And because of one tweet, that basically blew my entire profit on my remaining one contract that I had open on SPY and the triple Q. Now I held that contract open because I figured that this was definitely an anomaly and it wasn't going to continue. But then, again, this morning we opened up higher and then I was forced to close for a loss. But that brings us to my second point of this video. Why did we climb so much overnight, and why did we open up higher? Now, as I've said a million times, I'm not an economist. I never pretended to be an economist or have a deep understanding of the inner workings of the government or finance or whatever. But what I did read is I read that Trump said, I've got a real good idea that China is going to come to the table and make an agreement with us. And I believe that just because he said that, a lot of people simply believed it. And they said, okay, well, Trump says China is ready to deal, so they're going to deal. So you've got a country with 1.4 billion people manufacturing 80% of the consumer goods worldwide, and they're going to be forced into making a deal. Why exactly? I believe that this morning we opened up higher because everybody thought that China was about to make a deal. I personally never believed that China was going to cave, and I never thought that they were going to make a deal, at least not right now. And when you had the leaders of China saying, we're down for a trade war, I believed that. And so for me, today, even when we started out, popping up a lot higher, and, by an hour and 15 minutes into the session, we basically had the high of day today. That's when I was getting in with my contracts on Apple and AMD. And, I just rode them down throughout the day. And in hindsight, if I had just kept them open all day long, I would have made probably an additional $600 to $1,000 on those contracts, and I would be up well over $2,000 today as opposed to $1,000 today. But I'm okay with that simply because of getting back to the first thing that I talked about on this video, which is any number of things can happen that have nothing to do with technicals or fundamental analysis or anything that can throw off your trading in a very significant way. So, who knows that some dumbass is not going to make another fake tweet about something in the middle of the day, and then all of a sudden price goes like this instantly before everybody realizes that, oh, hey, that was actually bullshit, and that was never going to happen anyway. Nobody's to say that that's not going to happen. So the point is, when you have a profit, you need to take your profit and you need to be okay with possibly making a little bit less money than you could have made, but knowing that you're locking in your profits. And so I simply, locked in my profits. I traded a little bit smaller than I really wanted to. Now, in my heart of hearts today, I kind of wanted to go all in because I was pretty confident that we were going to have another red day today. But I just wanted to be a little bit conservative in the sense that remembering what had happened yesterday and remembering how easy it is for markets to be manipulated from a million different directions. You just never know what's going to happen. And, so I'm playing the chart that I saw right in front of me. And I got out when I saw the right moments to get out on the big red candles. And, part of me wanted to let it run longer, but then I thought back to what happened yesterday with the fake tweet. And I thought, right now it's an extremely volatile time and you just never know what's going to happen. So, got in, made my money, got out. I'm perfectly happy with $1,000 day. What's not to love about making $1,000? And so the point of today's video was really just to talk about how no matter what politicians might say to you, you need to look at the bigger picture and try to understand human psychology on more of like a macro level and think about, what do people care about? What are their true motivations behind doing what they're going to do? And look at who has the power in any sort of negotiation. And, if we were attempting to negotiate with Estonia or like Switzerland or any other sort of smaller country that didn't have a lot of power, my thoughts would be much different than what my thoughts were thinking about a possible trade war with China. And that's why I played things the way that I did today. Not talking anything about politics whatsoever. I really want to make it a point of saying that when I bring up political things, I'm not talking about what I like or dislike personally from a political standpoint. I'm merely talking about how politics influences the way I think about my moves that I make day trading. Because that's what this is all about, is trying to make money day trading. It's not about trying to get public sentiment for or against any particular person. It's just about how do you make money as a day trader. And you just have to look at the reality of the situation as it's put in front of you and just make the best moves that you can. And that's what I did today. And, honestly, at some point, of course, the market is going to turn around. We're not going to be, on a death spiral forever. But until I see something significant happen in terms of like real actual deals being made with foreign countries and the tariffs substantially, in a very real way being lifted, I don't see a whole lot of reason to buy the dip right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But in the very near future, I'm definitely continuing my bearish lean, at least until I see actual, real, significant deals being made, and then I see the results of those real deals that have been made in the stock market, turning it around and moving it towards the upside. When I see that, then my lean will start to change. But until I see that, then everything is just talk. And talk doesn't mean anything to me. Talk is just talk. So when I see something real, then my attitude will change. And until I see something real, then I'm going to continue to have the attitude that I've had for the past few weeks, which is fairly bearish on stocks. So that's it for today. Hope you guys have had a good week. Hope you've been able to take advantage of all of the volatile swings. I mean, you have had opportunities to make money going both long and short in the last few days. So if you're able to be very nimble and quick and pull the trigger on your entries and your exits, you should have been able to make money going either direction. And hopefully you can continue to do so. And until next time, hope you all have a good week. Continue the rest of the week. And I'll see you whenever I make a new video. All right, take care, everybody.